There comes a time in life when you must confront a difficult truth. You were good to the wrong people. You gave them your time, your effort, your loyalty. You lifted them up, stood by them, and showed them kindness, even when they gave you nothing in return. And what did you receive? Betrayal, indifference, or worse, the feeling that your generosity was taken for granted. But here's the thing, this is not a call to resentment. It is a call to clarity. You cannot waste your energy wishing for apologies that will never come. You cannot wait for people to realize your worth after they've already proven that they never saw it. Instead, you must let them face the weight of their own choices. Regret is a powerful force. Those who mistreat others often believe they will never face the consequences. They think your kindness is infinite, your patience unbreakable. But the moment you walk away, the moment you stop giving, they begin to understand. They are left with the empty space where your presence used to be. The support they assumed would always be there. And when that realization dawns on them, when they see that they lost something they will never get back, that's when regret takes hold. But by then, it's no longer your burden to carry. It is theirs. Your job is not to make them regret. Your job is to build a life so strong, so full of purpose, that their regret becomes irrelevant to you. Their choices led them to where they are now. And your choice? To rise, to protect your energy, and to give your kindness only to those who truly deserve it. Let them sit with their regret. You move forward. The cost of misplaced kindness. There is a profound cost to being kind to the wrong people, and it's a price that many pay without realizing it until it's too late. You see, kindness is not just an act, it is an investment. When you offer your time, your energy, your care, and your loyalty to someone, you are making a choice to extend something valuable from yourself. But what happens when that investment is poured into hands that do not value it? The truth is, not everyone you help will appreciate your effort. Not everyone you support will reciprocate your goodwill. And worse, some will see your kindness as weakness, a resource to exploit rather than an expression of genuine care. These are the people who will take and take until there is nothing left, leaving you drained, disillusioned, and questioning whether your kindness was ever worth it. This is why discernment is critical. You must not only be good, but be good with wisdom. It is not enough to have a generous heart if you do not also have strong boundaries. Without them, you will find yourself in a cycle of giving to those who do not deserve, hoping for change that never comes, and allowing your own well-being to deteriorate in the process. But here's the harsh reality. When you finally wake up and step away, when you finally stop allowing yourself to be used, those who took advantage of you will not feel gratitude for what you did. Instead, they will feel inconvenience, frustration, even anger, because your kindness was never something they valued. It was something they expected. And when it is gone, they will miss not you, but what they were able to take from you. The cost of misplaced kindness is not just exhaustion or heartbreak. It is the time you cannot get back, the energy you could have used to build something meaningful, and the self-respect you allowed to be eroded. The solution? Stop giving to those who do not appreciate, and start valuing yourself enough to be selective with your kindness. True generosity is never about pleasing everyone. It is about giving to those who deserve it. Accountability over resentment. It's easy to fall into resentment when you realize you've been good to the wrong people. You start replaying the moments you stood by them, the sacrifices you made, and the way they dismissed your kindness as if it meant nothing. The natural reaction is to want them to feel the pain they caused you, to wish for justice in the form of regret, or even suffering on their part. But here's the truth. Resentment is a weight that only you carry. It does not harm them, it harms you. What truly matters is not how they feel about what they've done, but how you respond to it. If you let bitterness consume you, then they still have control over your life. You become trapped in a cycle of anger, constantly looking back at what should have been instead of moving forward. That is not justice. That is self-destruction. The right response is accountability, not theirs, yours. Not accountability for their wrongs, but accountability for your role in allowing them to take advantage of your kindness. You must recognize where you ignored red flags, where you made excuses for poor behavior, where you gave second chances to people who had already proven they didn't deserve them. This is not about blaming yourself. It is about learning, because once you hold yourself accountable, you take back control. You stop waiting for their regret and start focusing on your own growth. And here's what happens when you do. The people who mistreated you will begin to feel the weight of their own actions, not because you forced them to, but because life has a way of teaching hard lessons. When they look around and realize you're no longer there to support them, when they reach for your kindness and find nothing but absence, that is when regret will come. But by that time, you will have moved on. You will be too focused on building the life you deserve to care whether or not they finally understand what they lost. The goal is not to punish them. The goal is to free yourself. Let them deal with their own choices. You have better things to do. Rebuilding your boundaries. If you've been good to the wrong people, it's not just because they took advantage of you, it's because at some point you allowed it. This is not an easy truth to accept, but it's a necessary one. The fact is, people will only take from you what you permit them to take. If you do not set limits, there will always be those who will push past what is fair, what is respectful, and what is decent. The solution is not to become cold or unkind, but to rebuild your boundaries with wisdom and strength. Many people misunderstand boundaries. They think setting limits means shutting others out or being selfish. In reality, boundaries are about self-respect. They are about recognizing your worth and making sure others recognize it too. Start by understanding this. Just because you are capable of helping someone does not mean you are obligated to. Just because you care about someone does not mean they deserve unlimited access to your energy. You must learn to differentiate between those who appreciate your kindness and those who only see it as a resource to be used. When you rebuild your boundaries, expect resistance. The people who benefited from your lack of limits will not like it when you enforce them. They may call you selfish, ungrateful, or even cruel. This is a test, one that you must pass, because if you give in, if you lower your boundaries just to make others comfortable, you will find yourself back in the same cycle, drained and disrespected. Strong boundaries do not push away the right people. They filter out the wrong ones. And when you finally surround yourself with those who respect your limits, you will realize something profound. The people who truly care about you never needed to be controlled or convinced to treat you well in the first place. The weight of regret on the ungrateful. Regret is one of life's most unforgiving teachers. It does not arrive when it is convenient, nor does it ask permission to be felt. It comes when the damage is already done, when the person who was once by your side has walked away, when the kindness that was once freely given is no longer available, when the support that was taken for granted is now absent. And by the time the ungrateful realize what they have lost, it is far too late. Those who mistreat good people rarely think about consequences in the moment. They assume that forgiveness is infinite, that patience has no end, and that your willingness to help is a permanent fixture in their lives. They do not reflect on how much you sacrificed, because in their minds it was always expected. But when you finally walk away, when you decide that your kindness will no longer be wasted, they are forced to face reality. At first, they may not notice. They may believe they can find someone else to replace you, someone else to lean on, to support them, to tolerate their behavior. But as time passes, as they encounter people who do not have your patience, your generosity, or your loyalty, the realization sets in. The world does not offer endless second chances. Not everyone will put up with their selfishness. And the person they thought would always be there, gone. This is the weight of regret. The understanding that they had something valuable, something rare, and they threw it away. It is a burden they will carry whether they admit it or not. But by the time they feel it, you will be long past the point of caring. Because regret is not your problem to solve. You gave them enough chances. You gave them enough warnings. Now, they must deal with the consequences of their own actions. Let them carry their regret. You have no obligation to lighten their burden. Your only responsibility is to continue moving forward, never again offering your kindness where it is not respected. Walking away is a form of justice. Many people believe justice is about setting the record straight, about making sure those who wrong them feel the consequences of their actions. But the truth is, the most powerful form of justice is not revenge, it is indifference. It is walking away so completely that those who once underestimated you are left to deal with the aftermath of their own choices without your presence to soften the impact. When you walk away from those who did not value you, you are not just removing yourself, you are removing the benefits they took for granted. They lose your kindness, your support, your patience, your understanding. And while they may not feel the loss immediately, life has a way of making people realize what they once had only when it is gone. But here's the most important part. You do not walk away hoping they regret it. You walk away because you finally understand your worth, because your energy is too valuable to be wasted on people who do not appreciate it, because your time is better spent on those who truly see you, respect you, and reciprocate what you give. This is not about punishing them, it is about liberating yourself. Justice is not about making them suffer. It is about ensuring you no longer suffer at their hands. It is about choosing peace over conflict, self-respect over validation, and a future filled with meaningful relationships rather than wasted effort. So let them sit with their regrets. Let them wonder what happened to the person they once took for granted. That is not your concern anymore. You have places to go, things to build, and a life to live. The greatest justice you can serve is becoming so fulfilled, so strong, and so at peace that their absence in your life is nothing more than an afterthought.